Hi, it's Simon Little again, and thanks for tuning in to this video series about Facebook. Now, it's very important to talk about Facebook and why it's so crucial for businesses nowadays, and especially for your business as a driving instructor. If you have the impression about Facebook that it's somewhere where people, it's just some sort of fad, something that people use occasionally, something that you know a bit about but you're not really sure of, if you think that it's something that sort of kids mess around with, if you think that it's not serious, and most of all, if you think that Facebook is not for business, then please think again. I'll tell you why it's such an important part of your web strategy. Now, there are two aspects to marketing yourself as a business. The one is being where your customers search for you, and we've covered that when we talked a bit about Google, but just to cover it again, you need to be where your customers look for you, because you want them to find you when they've got a mindset of thinking about your product or service. And they have got a mindset of thinking about that product or service if they've just looked for it. Now, that's the most important strategy for your business. But apart from being where people are looking for you, you can also be where they spend time. Now, sometimes that's one and the same place. So if we think about any high street in any city around the country, retailers pay to be in prominent spots, in prominent positions in that high street, and they do so for two reasons. The first reason being that they know that their customers are going to want to come and look for them, and that they would look for them in a high street if they're a major retailer. The second reason is that they know that there are also other customers who maybe were looking for other shops, but because they're in that area, the retailer in the prominent position is going to pick up some secondary footfall from those customers who are in that area. Now, as I said, on the high street, being where your customers are looking for you and being where your customers spend their time is the same thing. On the internet, it very much is a different thing. While Google is still the #1 most used and most visited website in the world, it is not by a long way the place where most people spend their time on the web, and that is, of course, Facebook. Now, why is Facebook so powerful for you, particularly as a driving instructor? Well, if it's not already obvious, if your target audience is predominantly 17-year-olds, which I would think it is, where are they and where do they spend their time online? Facebook. Every single one of them is on Facebook, and they're connected to every single one of their close friends and every single one of their friends of friends, and in fact pretty much everybody they've ever met. You may not be aware of this, but the average Facebook user has over 300 friends listed, and I would be willing to bet that the average for 17-year-olds is considerably higher. Well, what does that mean for your business? Well, having spoken to a lot of driving instructors, I know that referrals are a very important part of generating new leads. And rightly so. Referrals are a fantastic way to generate new business, because rather than you going out and selling yourself, if somebody's talking about their own business and what they do, we can naturally be a bit suspicious that they'll be biased. What you've got with a referral is somebody who's been through a positive experience telling somebody else or giving someone else a personal recommendation about what they've just received, what they've just done. Now, obviously that carries far more marketing power, but it has its downsides. I mean, for one thing, unless you're offering some sort of reward for it, you might not necessarily get people to tell others about your business. I mean, human nature is that we're far more likely to complain loudly to everyone we know about an experience we didn't enjoy than we are to tell everybody we know in eulogizing terms about an experience that we did enjoy. It's just human nature. The other issue with referrals is, of course, that it's a limited reach message, and most of the time a recommendation or a referral will be made on a one-to-one basis, or if you're lucky, someone might talk about you to a group of their friends, in which case it's a 1 to, say, 5 or maybe 10 people. Now, Facebook works very differently. If your average 17-year-old has more than 300 friends and they post up a message on their Facebook profile saying something like, just passed my test with X driving school, feel really pleased with myself, then that message is going to appear on the news feed of every single one of their friends. That's one message, 300 plus viewers. It gets better than that. If somebody likes and comments on that piece, so that person's friend says, "Well done for passing your test, great news," then the original message and the response also appear in that person's newsfeed. One message, one response, we've now got over 600 potential views for that message. I hope you're excited about that, because that is the nature of going viral. You've probably heard that buzz term a lot. That is the very nature of going viral. The fact that one message, one comment hits hundreds and hundreds of people. 2 degrees of separation. What if there are 2 or 3 or 4 comments? Suddenly you're reaching thousands of people. Okay. Now, Facebook allows 3 ways for you to go in and use it. You can create a personal profile. You can create a page, which is for brands, organisations, bands and businesses. Or you can create a group, which is for people who've got common interests. Now, you may choose to use all 3 of those, and we're going to talk through all the differences, because you can do some things with one or other of those access points for Facebook that you can't do with the rest. I would personally recommend that you have at least a personal professional profile and a business page. You might choose to make use of all 3 when we've talked through them all, but we'll cover that later on. Okay, so as I said, what are we going to talk through during the course of this video series? We're going to talk through how to get the most out of Facebook and why it's so important. We're going to talk about how to set up your presence on Facebook and the difference between profiles, pages and groups. We're going to talk about how to generate friends and fans and followers on Facebook. We're going to talk about the benefits of Facebook ads, which is, I think, probably the cheapest and most targeted way to reach particular groups of people that ever existed. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about how it fits into your web strategy, which I'm hoping already includes things like a places entry and a website. If it doesn't, you can use Facebook as a standalone lead generation source, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Now, obviously, there's a huge amount of content here. There's a lot for you to learn, and there's a lot for you to implement. If you would like somebody else to take the work away from you, then we offer a done-for-you service. If you want to find out a bit more than that, just give us a bit more about that, just give us a ring. It's 01733 514 007. That's 01733 514 007. Or if you prefer to email us, you can get hold of us at info@drivinginstructormarketing.co.uk. Be delighted to hear from you, and I really hope we can help you out. And if you choose not to get in contact with us, that's great. I really hope you enjoy the rest of this video course, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for now.